when we're referring to storage, it will often be called secondary storage or backing storage. We just say that data is written from memory, so RAM or cache, to secondary storage when the data is no longer actively being used. So while it's not being worked on, so maybe if you're going to leave your computer for a while or come back another day, it means that you can then retrieve that data. It is a lot slower to access the data from storage than it is from memory, but it's non-volatile, so it will be there if the computer is turned off and then turned back on again. So there are 4 different storage devices that you need to be aware of. The first one is optical storage. So optical storage is storage using a disk. The data is read using a laser. So what it does is it shines a laser at a disk. It reads out from the center to the outside of the disk in a spiral, and there are bumps and pits on that disk. And depending on how that light is reflected back, it'll either be read as a 1 or a 0. Advantages are that the storage is relatively cheap, it's very portable, however it can be damaged quite easily. Magnetic storage is exactly as it sounds. It uses magnets to read magnetic dots on either a floppy disk or a hard disk or a magnetic tape. There's a head within the magnetic reader that will scan the medium, and it will read the magnetic dots as either 1s or 0s. Floppy disks not really used anymore. They, I think, were 1.4 megabytes. You wouldn't really store a lot on that these days. Hard disks, obviously you use those all the time within most desktops and most laptops. Solid state memory is now increasing in popularity for obvious reasons. We'll talk about that in a second. But also magnetic tapes, these are still used fairly regularly in servers. They're very slow, however they have very large amounts of storage. So solid state, again as it sounds, it has no moving parts. It's a solid device. You'll find them in USB flash memory sticks and in memory cards, and the size of solid state hard drives is now also at a point where they're frequently being used in laptops, tablets, mobile phones. Obviously the benefit is that they're a lot quicker and also use a lot less power, and they are a lot quicker. And finally, something that you all use every day, I would imagine, is storage in the cloud. So this is where you are using third-party servers via the internet, usually to save your data. The advantage of this is that you can get a lot of free storage without having to spend much money. It can also have automatic backup, so as soon as you take a photo it might automatically back up to Google servers or Apple servers. Disadvantages are that you do need an internet connection. Other disadvantages are that you may be concerned about organisations having a lot of your personal data being held and stored. Something that obviously people worry about, especially as legislation on the internet is a little bit of a grey area, just because you may take a photo here but it's potentially not going to be stored in this country. It could be somewhere else where different laws would apply.